I'm Lykouras, the design director for Fong Group. I've been with the group for over 14 years now and been fortunate enough to work on some significant projects in China, in Hong Kong and in Phuket. So we've been in Phuket now for over 25 years. We started with our first project, which is our Sudara hotel. That's our signature hotel project, which we completed over 25 years ago. Since then, we've done many private residences and the big project called the Kwai, which is up in Phang. Through those projects, we've been able to gain a lot of experience on development projects down there and learn and understand the local culture and their lifestyles. And through those projects, we've been able to win many awards, become pretty well-known and established developer in Phuket. Our experience in Phuket has allowed us to understand local traditions and culture. And through those, we can draw inspiration when we're designing our projects there. When it came to Sudara, we wanted to draw from those experiences and instill the beach lifestyle within the project. And Sudara being, a playground for the rich and famous, we think this potentially could be on a similar level for Bangtao. I certainly think it will be a landmark project for Bangtao and certainly recognisable from its design, but also what's being on offer. We always design for longevity, but not just that, we wanted to embrace the local culture in a contemporary way. What we learned from our previous projects was that the building techniques, the materiality, the design style was drawn heavily from Thai influence. And we found that a lot of the projects there are kind of too urban for its context, and you need to adapt and become sympathetic to its environment. So that's another thing that we try to aim to achieve within the design process. When we're designing the project, we always try to aim for quality outcome, and that's through materiality, design, details. And I know a lot of developers there like to promise a lot, and they have great renderings and great marketing material, and in the end the product sort of lets itself down through the final outcome. And that's something we've been able to prove and continue to prove in Phuket, and we're 100% confident that Sudara will continue that reputation for the group. The pool is a significant component of the project, and it's probably the iconic piece as well as the pavilion. We went through a number of master plan reiterations to kind of determine what the best orientation is for the pool and the buildings, and that's to allow the pool to have sunlight throughout the entire year. Car parking is another significant component of the project, and we try to offer that back to the buyers. We've been able to achieve a 1-to-1 car parking ratio for the buyers, so each buyer gets a car park. As well as that, we've been able to incorporate the car parking underground. There's also dedicated EV charging stations. You'll find that in Phuket, cars are very essential for getting around. A lot of the developers don't offer car parking, so I think what we're putting ourselves in a position to really, show buyers that we're thinking about their stay and their expectations when they do get to Phuket. I want the clubhouse to be iconic, which put me under a bit of pressure. So I was sitting there and I was talking to the guys in the studio about what do we do, and one of the team members there was Spanish. I thought, it'd be great to do the Spanish Steps, even though they are in Rome. But the fact that the Spanish Steps are a communal space in a way, people go there and they cross over and interact, which I thought would be ideal for something of that nature at the end of the pool. It can also take advantage of the vista of that big 50-metre long pool. So that was one idea, and the other idea was that traditionally in Thai architecture you do a sala for outdoor entertainment, and we didn't want to basically reinterpret a typical Thai sala. So how do you turn the sala on its head? And that is to invert it in a way, and that is to let the roof come in and yet maintain that openness around that public area, which is the rooftop. And that's where people go there to come together, and it becomes a communal space in a way. So hopefully this will be a great success. Not only the pavilion will be an icon, but it'll be a great place for the residents to create a sense of community around. So how do you create this big sort of floating cantilevered roof with no columns, which allows sort of this 360-degree open view? And we managed to achieve it, I think, by some clever engineering. You're looking across the pool and you see this sort of beautiful floating roof on top of this small building. And we think that will be an icon of Bangtao and Phuket. And then the pool itself is, again, one of the big signatures of the project. And we try to bring in a lot of the little touches from Sudara, which is our signature hotel. And that's the line of the palm trees that kind of line the edge of the pool. And then all around the pool, there's these little sort of pockets of seating, for sort of private little get-togethers, or if you want to sit along in the cabana on the edge of the pool, that's also on offer. So there's a few different types of seating concepts around the pool. There's also some in-water seating if you want to sit on the water. And that leads you down to, which is the rock pool at the end. And that's kind of like nestled into the end of the pool with all this landscaping around it. And on top of the rock pool, there's a plunge pool. So people can walk up some stairs and sit inside this beautiful sort of cantilevered egg-shaped pool that overlooks the entire 50-metre long main pool and the pavilion. We spent a lot of time and effort to get what we call the biophilic concept working around the pool. And it's important for us to have this beautiful green, lush setting for the residents. But it's not just being about lush and green. Biophilic design affects us health-wise, mentally, and it's beneficial for us to be immersed in a green setting rather than just a few plants here and there. So we spent time to create a biophilic concept that has health benefits, mental benefits, but also a beautiful setting for the people to enjoy. Signature for us was, I guess, the palm trees that line the pool. They actually look like they pop out from the water, but that's a signature from Sudara, which we brought into this as well. And the plant species we picked specifically we try to pick native species wherever we can, and our landscaping coverage is over 40%, which is great because then it helps also with filtering the air and so forth. So landscaping for us was very important to offer back to the residents. So the sales gallery was another challenge in itself. What we did was we researched a lot of the galleries on offer in Phuket at the time, and we found they're all quite very generic. And what I said to the team was that we need to create something that's almost beach-like, almost like a beach hut. And actually we drew inspiration from the beach clubs on Bangtao, and we created what I call a luxury beach hut in a way, that has the flowing curtains and the wooden feel to it. And again, you'll notice that the two palm trees that pop out through the roof, it's actually taken from traditional Thai architecture, because in the old days, terraces would have an opening where the tree would pop out and create shade to sit on the terrace. So again, drawing a lot of inspiration in a contemporary way for the show gallery was also part of the design process. And we managed to win an award. We won Best Show Gallery in Phuket. So the apartment buildings themselves, the project itself, we could have maximised the number of units on that particular site. And again, Alan has, he kind of thinks about his reputation and offering back a quality product to the buyer. And that's something we kind of compromised in a way where we built the size and the number of apartments we thought was a good, comfortable size, and not over developing as most developers would. It's a fact that all the projects that we've developed and sold, people have actually made money on in reselling it later on. So sustainability is another feature of the project, and it's something that our buyers expect, and we try to go above and beyond as much as we can to offer these back to the buyers. For example, we collect all stormwater or rainwater and put it back into tanks where we can reuse it then for landscaping purposes or cleaning. We also try to treat all the grey water waste and then put that back into the system. And we try to minimise the stormwater discharge or any discharge back out into the public works. The other features are things like we put solar panels on all the roofs. And that's to collect sunlight to power our common area lighting. And the orientation of the buildings themselves is very important in terms of sunlight access, etc. And passive cooling is another feature which a lot of developers probably don't offer, and that is all our public areas are open and they're designed in a way to allow cool breezes to go through and cool the public areas without having to use mechanical ventilate or mechanical cooling. And again, all our appliances, all our air conditioning units are energy efficient and have a certain star rating to them. So materials was the other thing that we had to consider, being in a salty sea air environment. Longevity and being able to withstand those conditions is very important.